है, सुपर स्मार्ट, पीएचडी है, सब कुछ पता है, बट व्हाट इफ वो अपनी नॉलेज का यूज पब्लिक को बेनिफिट करने के बजाय खुद के प्राइवेट इंटरेस्ट के लिए करें?
डेंजरस, वेरी डेंजरस।
राइट? दूसरी तरफ एक ऑफिसर है जो बहुत ऑनेस्ट है बट उसे रूल्स एंड प्रोसीजर्स की नॉलेज ही नहीं है।
प्रीटी यूजलेस ना?
तो आखिर एक परफेक्ट सिविल सर्वेंट बनाता क्या है? सिर्फ नॉलेज या उससे भी ज्यादा कुछ?
डेफिनेटली कुछ ज्यादा।
दोस्तों, आज हम इसी कुछ ज्यादा को अनपैक करने वाले हैं। वेलकम टू आवर डीप डिस्कशन एंड हे, अगर तुम यहाँ नए हो तो जल्दी से सब्सक्राइब बटन और नोटिफिकेशन बेल हिट कर दो।
You don't want to miss these discussions, trust me.
सो ट्रू।
Exactly.
आज हम एक्सप्लोर करेंगे वो फाउंडेशनल वैल्यूज जो सिविल सर्विस की स्टील फ्रेम बनाती हैं।
Steel frame. I like that. ये सिर्फ टेक्स्ट बुक कॉन्सेप्ट्स नहीं है, ये वो क्वालिटीज हैं जो एक ऑफिसर को इफेक्टिव, एथिकल और ट्रूली पब्लिक सर्वेंट बनाती हैं।
ऑसम। तो चलो आज का लर्निंग मैप देखते हैं। हम शुरू करेंगे एप्टीट्यूड से। ये होता क्या है और इंटेलिजेंस से अलग कैसे है?
Then the big ones.
यस। फिर हम डाइव करेंगे इनटू द कोर फाउंडेशनल वैल्यूज फॉर सिविल सर्विसेज। इंटेग्रिटी, ऑनेस्टी, ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, इम्पार्शियलिटी और नॉन पार्टिसनशिप। इसके बाद हम कुछ क्रूशियल प्रोफेशनल वैल्यूज जैसे डेडिकेशन, कंपैशन, टॉलरेंस, परसिवियरेंस, लॉयल्टी और कोलिजियलिटी को समझेंगे।
And finally a reality check.
यस। एंड फाइनली हम टच करेंगे कुछ मॉडर्न डे एथिकल इश्यूज इन साइबर, सोशल मीडिया एंड एनिमल एथिक्स और एक रियल वर्ल्ड केस स्टडी भी है।
Sounds like a packed session.
रेडी हो? लेट्स अनपैक दिस।
Let's do it.
ओके, फर्स्ट अप, पार्ट 1, एप्टीट्यूड एंड फाउंडेशनल वैल्यूज।
The basics.
लेट्स स्टार्ट विद आवर फर्स्ट टॉपिक, व्हाट इज एप्टीट्यूड? ये इंटेलिजेंस से अलग कैसे है?
Our broad micro theme for this section is aptitude and foundational values for civil service.
Okay, so aptitude. Let's start with the simple definition. Basically, aptitude एक innate, inborn ability है।
Innate, that's the key word.
ये वो चीज है जिसमें you are naturally good, जैसे कोई स्पोर्ट्स में या आर्ट में। याद रखना, ये नॉलेज या स्किल नहीं है।
It's that natural spark.
बिल्कुल।
That's a perfect way to put it. Imagine Sachin Tendulkar.
The classic example.
उनके पास क्रिकेट का नेचुरल एप्टीट्यूड था। Of course, practice से उन्होंने skills develop किए, but the initial spark, that talent, was aptitude. It's the potential you are born with.
Got it. चलो, let's get into the content discussion. First, the introduction. Why is it so important to understand aptitude for a career in civil services?
It's crucial. क्योंकि civil services मतलब it's not just about knowing facts from a book.
Right.
It's about having the inherent potential to handle complex, high pressure, or often ambiguous situations.
So it's a different ball game altogether.
Yes, it's about having a natural inclination for problem solving, decision making, and importantly, public service.
Got it. Now for the background. The big confusion is always between intelligence and aptitude. इनको differentiate करते हैं.
Right. So intelligence is broad. It's about knowing and understanding complex ideas, learning, reasoning, or importantly, intelligence grows with learning.
The more you study, the more intelligent you become.
Exactly. Aptitude, on the other hand, is limited to certain areas. It makes certain acts feel effortless, and ordinarily, it does not grow.
Okay, so you are either born with a musical aptitude or you are not.
Precisely.
So intelligence is like your computer's total memory, जिसे आप डेटा से fill कर सकते हो. Aptitude is like a pre-installed graphics card.
That's a great analogy. Naturally good at a specific task.
चलो, let's break down the core logic. The difference between skills, abilities, and aptitudes.
This is a fantastic distinction. Skills are backward-looking.
Backward looking.
Yes, they describe what you've learned to do in the past through practice. For example, practice के बाद गिटार बजाना एक skill है.
Okay, learned in the past.
What about abilities?
Abilities are a present description. What you can do right now. जैसे your general physical coordination.
Present, got it. And aptitudes?
Aptitudes are forward-looking. They describe your potential to do something in the future. A natural talent for mathematics is an aptitude. That makes so much sense. Skill is past, ability is present, aptitude is future potential. So what's the real-world impact here? Why does aptitude matter so much in civil services?
It matters immensely because it shows the potential to handle situations you can't prepare for from a textbook.
Situations that are not in the syllabus?
Exactly. It's the potential to lead, to empathize, to make sound judgments under stress. The exam patterns are also designed to test this potential, not just rote knowledge.
And to give a final conclusion on this topic,
So, in short, aptitude is your natural talent, skills are what you've learned, and abilities are what you can do right now. For a civil servant, a high aptitude for public service is the foundation.
जिसके ऊपर skills और knowledge build की जा सकती है. Cool ना?
Super cool.
Super cool, but I have some questions.
What?
Wait, तो अगर aptitude grow नहीं करता, तो does that mean a person without a natural aptitude for public service can never become a good officer?
That's a great question. Aptitude is a starting point, not a destiny.
Okay.
Think of it as a natural advantage, but skills, or more importantly, the right attitude can be developed.
Through training.
Training, mentorship, experience, ये सब qualities cultivate कर सकते हैं. सोचो, it's not a dead end, but the path might be steeper.
Okay, that's reassuring. Next question. So between intelligence and aptitude, what's more important for a civil servant?
It's not an either or situation. दोनों का blend essential है.
A blend.
सिर्फ high intelligence से काम नहीं चलता if the decision making aptitude is weak, और सिर्फ natural aptitude से भी काम नहीं चलता if you lack knowledge of laws and procedures.
So holistic competence is the key.
Holistic competence.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Can we actually test for aptitude? कैसे पता चलेगा कि I have the right aptitude?
Yes, aptitude tests are designed for exactly this. They don't test your knowledge but your potential.
How?
They present you with novel situations to see how you react. जैसे एग्जाम्स में ethics case studies आती हैं, they are a great way to test your aptitude for ethical decision making.
Interesting. Here's another one. What if someone has the aptitude but no interest? Is that useless?
Aptitude without interest is dormant potential. Interest or motivation are the keys that unlock aptitude.
Right.
You might have a natural aptitude for singing, but if you never try, it remains undiscovered. For civil services, a genuine interest in serving people is what fuels and directs the aptitude. Last one on this. Can an aptitude be negative? Like, could someone have an aptitude for manipulation?
That's a fascinating thought. Yes, one could argue that some people have a natural talent or aptitude for manipulation.
और यहाँ पर values का role आता है.
Exactly. This is where foundational values, जो हम आगे discuss करेंगे, become so critical. An aptitude must be guided by a strong moral compass.
Perfect. Now, pause करके practice saying, aptitude is an innate ability, while a skill is learned through practice.
And our mini recap, in short, aptitude is your potential for the future, skills are your achievements from the past.
Chalo, now that we understand aptitude, let's move to the bedrock of public service, the steel frame, civil services के core values.
Yes, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel ने civil service को India का steel frame कहा था.
I love that term.
He envisioned a bureaucracy that would hold the country together, provide stability, और be incorruptible. ये values इस frame को strong बनाती हैं.
So, they are the foundation.
The foundation for implementing policies and delivering public services effectively and ethically.
It's like the foundation of a building. If it's weak, the whole structure collapses. Let's start the discussion. Introduction. So, what exactly are these values?
We'll discuss them in detail, but they include integrity, honesty, objectivity, impartiality, non-partisanship, dedication, compassion, and more.
More than just words for an exam?
Bilkul. These are principles to be lived by every single day in every single decision.
Let's talk about the background. Why are these values so incredibly important?
Is because civil servants के पास immense power होती है. The power to impact millions of lives and manage huge public resources.
With great power
comes great responsibility. In values के बिना, as Lord Acton famously said, power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
These values are the check against that corruption.
Right.
So what's the core logic here? How do these values work in practice?
The core logic is to ensure कि एक civil servant को दी गई power public good के लिए use हो, ना कि personal gain के लिए.
So they ensure fairness and justice.
Fairness, justice, and trust in the government. They transform a government employee into a true public servant.
And the real-world impact. What happens when officers actually follow these values?
The impact is profound. Public trust in the government बढ़ता है, transparency आती है, services are delivered efficiently and equitably.
The gap between government and citizens shrinks.
Exactly. The entire system functions better.
So, to give a final conclusion to this introduction to values,
these values are not just rules, they are a mindset, a deep commitment to the nation and its people. They are the conscience of the steel frame.
Fantastic. Time for some cross-questioning. Why did Sardar Patel specifically say steel frame? Why not a golden frame or silver frame?
That's a great question. Because steel represents strength, resilience, and incorruptibility.
Makes sense.
Gold and silver are valuable, but also malleable and can be tarnished. The frame of the nation needed to be strong, unbending in the face of pressure, and unbiased, qualities best represented by steel.
Nice. Next question. Are these values only for civil servants, or can we apply them in our own lives?
Absolutely. ये universal ethical principles हैं. Integrity, honesty, compassion. These are values that enrich any profession and any individual's life.
So anyone can and should practice them.
To become a better professional and a better human being. Yes.
Okay, this one is important. आज के time में with so much political pressure and corruption, इन values की relevance कम हुई है या और बढ़ गई है?
It has increased exponentially. In a complex, fast-changing world with rising scrutiny from the public and media, ye values not just desirable, they are essential for survival and effectiveness.
They are the anchor.
The only anchor in a turbulent sea.
What's the biggest challenge in upholding these values today for an officer?
The biggest challenge is often systemic pressure, political interference, the threat of transfers, or kabhi-kabhi a culture of compromise.
So it takes moral courage to stand firm.
Immense moral courage. Another challenge is the complexity of modern problems, where the right thing to do isn't always clear-cut.
So if a system is corrupt, can one honest officer really make a difference by following these values?
Yes, absolutely. It's like lighting a candle in a dark room.
That's a powerful thought.
One officer with integrity can inspire others. They can create a pocket of efficiency and ethics. Over time, these pockets can grow and influence the larger system. Change often starts with one person's refusal to compromise.
Wow. Let's move to the practice cue.
Practice saying, foundational values are the ethical bedrock of the civil service.
And the mini recap.
In short, these aren't just values. They're the operating system for a good civil servant.
Now for part 2.
Yes. Bhag do. Integrity or honesty. Let's dive in to the first and perhaps most important foundational value, integrity. The topic is integrity. जब कोई देख नहीं रहा, तब आप क्या करते हो? Exactly. Integrity is a step beyond honesty. It's the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles.
So they are linked?
Basically, what you think, say, and do sub align होना चाहिए. It's about upholding ethics even in the face of temptation and adversity.
Wow. That's a comprehensive definition. Let's make it real with an example. Okay, socho. A senior police officer orders his team to fire on unarmed protesters.
A very tough situation.
एक policeman with integrity refuse कर देगा, even if it means disobeying orders from a senior.
Why?
That's integrity in action. Because he's upholding a higher moral principle, protecting innocent lives over a direct order.
Perfect example. Now, for the content discussion, let's start with the introduction. The meaning of integrity isn't just about not being financially corrupt.
It's deeper than that.
It's a much deeper concept. It includes intellectual integrity, professional integrity, and moral integrity. It's about being whole and undivided in your ethical stance.
Let's look at the background. Why is integrity non-negotiable in public service?
In public service, integrity is non-negotiable because it ensures there is no misuse of an official position, that public money is used effectively, and that there is no conflict of interest.
It's the ultimate safeguard.
The ultimate safeguard, yes.
Let's unpack the core logic from our source material. What are the key aspects of integrity?
Okay, there are several. First, upholding ethics and values even when no one is watching.
The core definition.
Second, putting public interest above personal interest, which is a democratic attitude. Third, no misuse of an official position, जैसे using official info for private gain.
And the fourth.
And fourth, a very important point, integrity cannot exist without honesty. It's the validation of honesty. Honesty is necessary but not sufficient for integrity.
That's a deep dive. Let's talk about the real-world impact. Our sources give some great examples.
Yes. For instance, when hiring new employees, a supervisor with integrity will insist on proper background checks even if it takes longer.
And during budget cuts?
An administrator with integrity will hold an open meeting to transparently explain the reasons. On the negative side, the recent examples of digital arrest scams or the New India Cooperative Bank scam.
They are stark reminders.
A stark reminder of a complete lack of integrity.
To conclude this point on integrity,
Integrity is the congruence between your thoughts, words, and actions. It's about doing the right thing, always, even when it's hard.
even when no one would know if you did the wrong thing.
That's when it matters most. It's your internal moral compass.
Brilliant. Now for some cross-questioning to really cement this. If an officer knows the thing is shortcut, will get the work done faster and benefit the public, but it's against the rules.
A classic ethical dilemma.
Should they show integrity and follow the rule, or take the shortcut for the greater good?
Integrity demands following the lawful procedure. The greater good argument can be a slippery slope.
How so?
The focus of an officer with integrity should be on highlighting the inefficiency of the rule and working to change it, not breaking it. Breaking the rule, even with good intentions, undermines the system.
Okay, that's a very clear line. Next, how is the digital arrest scam related to integrity?
It's a perfect example of the misuse of a position of trust. Criminals impersonate government officials, police, CBI, etc., and exploit the trust people have in these positions.
It's a breach of trust.
It shows a complete lack of integrity as they use a trusted identity from malicious personal gain. It also damages the integrity of the real institutions.
How is integrity developed? Is it something you're born with, or can it be learned?
It's a bit of both. Some people may have a stronger innate moral compass, but integrity is largely cultivated.
Through practice.
Upbringing, education, role models, or most importantly, through practice. Every time you choose the right thing over the easy thing, you strengthen your integrity muscle.
Can an organization have integrity, or is it just an individual trait?
An organization absolutely can and should have integrity. It's called organizational integrity.
How is that reflected?
It's reflected in its mission, its transparent processes, its code of conduct, and how it treats its employees and the public. A culture of integrity is when the organization as a whole does the right thing.
Last question. Is there a difference between personal integrity and professional integrity?
Ideally, there shouldn't be. A person of true integrity is consistent.
But professionally,
Professional integrity specifically refers to upholding the ethical standards of your profession. For a civil servant, this means adhering to the code of conduct, maintaining confidentiality, and being non-partisan. A person with high integrity ensures both are aligned.
excellent. Now for our listeners, practice this powerful line. Integrity is what you do when no one is watching.
And the mini recap. In short, integrity is the alignment of your moral compass with your actions, ensuring public interest always comes first.
Let's move to a very famous quote that connects integrity with knowledge. The topic is knowledge plus integrity, the ultimate combination.
I'll read the quote.
Please.
Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless, but knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful.
This is such a critical concept. Let's break it down. Part 1. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless.
Explain that.
Imagine a very honest person who wants to fight corruption. But if they have no knowledge of the RTI Act or the Prevention of Corruption Act, unke good intentions are useless.
They can't act effectively.
Their integrity is weak because it lacks the tool of knowledge.
That makes perfect sense. A good heart isn't enough. You need a sharp mind too.
Now for the second part. Knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful.
This is the more frightening part. A highly skilled person, a brilliant engineer, a hacker, with no moral compass is a massive threat.
Harshad Mehta, Nirav Modi.
Exactly. These were knowledgeable, intelligent people who used their skills for massive fraud. Their knowledge, without the check of integrity, became dangerous.
Our source material has a fantastic diagram for this. The high-value, high-scale quadrant. Let's discuss that.
Yes, imagine a graph. The vertical axis is value, integrity, from low to high. The horizontal axis is skill, knowledge, from low to high. This creates 4 quadrants.
Okay, quadrant 1.
High value, high skill. These are the best, the ideal civil servants. They have the moral compass and the competence.
Quadrant 2.
High value, low skill. These people have a good heart, but lack the necessary skills. They can improve with training.
Quadrant 3.
Low value, low skill. These people don't matter much. They're neither very helpful nor very harmful.
And the most dangerous one? Quadrant 4.
Low value, high skill. This is the worst quadrant. The brilliant doctor who performs unnecessary surgeries for money. The skilled official who creates sophisticated corruption schemes.
This quadrant model is brilliant for understanding this. So, the conclusion here is,
The goal is holistic competence, which is a blend of ethical competence, integrity, and professional competence, knowledge. One without the other is either useless or dangerous.
time for cross-questioning. So does this mean that in hiring, we should prefer a high-value, low-skill candidate over a low-value, high-skill candidate?
Yes, absolutely. Warren Buffett said the same thing. He looks for 3 qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy.
And he said,
And he says if they don't have the first one, integrity, the other 2 will kill you. So yes, values should be the most critical filter. You can teach skills, but it's very difficult to teach integrity.
can you give a real-life example of this, beyond finance?
Bilkul. Think of a brilliant scientist with no integrity. They might falsify data for a research grant. A brilliant lawyer with no integrity might help a guilty person walk free, harming society.
A brilliant coder with no integrity.
Creates ransomware. The danger is everywhere.
How can we achieve this balance? What is the role of the education system?
The education system has a massive role. It often focuses too much on knowledge, the skill axis, and not enough on values, the value axis.
So we need to integrate value education.
Right from school. It shouldn't be an extra period. It should be part of the very culture of learning.
In a team, is it better to have one high-value, high-skill person or a group of high-value, low-skill people?
That's a good management question. A team of high-value, low-skill people who are willing to learn can be incredibly powerful because they trust each other and work towards a common good.
And the low-value person?
One low-value, high-skill person can poison the entire team's culture. So I would bet on the high-value team.
How does an individual assess their own position on this quadrant?
Through honest self-reflection. Ask yourself, am I constantly learning and upgrading my skills? That's the skill axis.
And for the value axis?
More importantly, ask, when faced with an ethical choice, do I choose what's right or what's easy? Am I honest with myself and others? That's the value axis.
Great. Let's get to the practice cue.
Practice saying, competence requires both knowledge and integrity.
And a quick mini recap. In short, knowledge is the car, integrity is the driver. Galat driver, so the car can cause a disaster.
Chalo, let's move from integrity to its close cousin, honesty.
Yes, topic 5. Honesty. Sach bolne ki quality. So what's the simple definition?
Honesty is pretty straightforward. It's being truthful, sincere, and straightforward. The source material emphasizes it's about setting out facts and relevant issues truthfully.
It's the foundation of trust.
The foundation.
Let's take an example. An administrator who acknowledges their mistakes in a budget report and outlines steps to correct them. That's honesty in action.
Absolutely. It actually builds more trust than pretending everything is perfect. Another great recent example from our sources is the Delhi Police's initiative to procure 1,500 body-worn cameras.
How is that honesty?
This is a step towards ensuring honest law enforcement, as interactions are documented objectively. It reduces false accusations and builds public trust.
Okay, let's discuss this further. Introduction. Honesty seems simple, but it's the foundation of everything else. There's a great Chinese proverb in our notes.
Slander cannot destroy an honest man,
Why so?
because an honest person's character stands on a firm foundation of truth. Now, for the background in public service, the key principle is that you must not deceive or knowingly mislead others.
This applies to everyone?
Colleagues, ministers, and most importantly, the public.
Let's break down the core logic. What are the key elements of honesty, according to our source mind map?
Okay, 4 key points. First, being truthful. Second, following norms, not necessarily models. We'll come back to this.
Interesting. Third,
Third, it can be present without integrity. And fourth, it's about setting facts clearly. This is a more functional, fact-based value compared to the moral weight of integrity.
and a real-world impact.
The impact is trust. Honest communication builds trust with stakeholders and the public. If there are changes in policies, an honest administrator explains the reasons truthfully,
It creates a partnership.
rather than an us versus them mentality.
Yes,
So, to conclude on honesty,
honesty is the first step towards building a trustworthy character and a trustworthy government. It's about being credible.
time for some cross questions. You mentioned honesty is about following norms, not necessarily morals. What does that mean? Can something be honest but not moral?
This is a deep and interesting point. The classic example is Yudhishthir's Ardha Satya in the Mahabharata.
Oh yes. Prithvi said Ashwathama is dead, but mumbled the part about it being an elephant.
So he was factually honest.
But the act lacked moral integrity because his intention was to deceive Drona. So you can tell the truth in a way that is manipulative or immoral.
Wow. So next question. Is honesty always the best policy? What about situations where the truth can cause harm, like a doctor telling a critically ill patient they have no hope?
This is where ethics gets complex and other values like compassion come into play. The goal is to avoid causing unnecessary harm.
So deception is not the answer.
Deception is rarely the right long-term answer. In the doctor's case, it's about communicating the truth with compassion and care, not blunt cruelty. But lying about a diagnosis would be a breach of honesty and trust.
How can an organization promote a culture of honesty?
By creating psychological safety, employees must feel safe to admit mistakes without fear of being unfairly punished.
And the leaders?
Leaders must model honesty themselves. There should be clear channels for reporting issues and a zero-tolerance policy for deception.
What's the difference between honesty and transparency?
They're very close. Honesty is about telling the truth when asked. Transparency is about being open and not hiding information proactively.
So transparency is a step ahead.
An honest person won't lie. A transparent organization shares information even before being asked. Transparency is a form of institutionalized honesty.
Is it possible to be too honest? Can it become a negative trait?
Honesty without tact or compassion can be perceived as rudeness. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it.
So it needs to be balanced.
The value of honesty needs to be balanced with other values like respect and kindness. It's about being truthful, not just being blunt.
Perfect. For our listeners, practice saying, honesty is being truthful in words and actions.
In short, honesty is about telling the truth. It's the bedrock of credibility.
Now for the ultimate showdown. Let's clarify the difference once and for all. The topic is the final showdown. Integrity versus honesty.
This is a crucial distinction. Let's use the points from our source. Focus. Honesty is about truthfulness. Integrity is about adherence to a moral code.
Okay, what about scope?
Scope. Honesty often deals with words. Integrity deals with actions.
And the most important point.
Guarantee. Honesty is not a guarantee of integrity, but integrity is a validation of honesty. You cannot have integrity without being honest first.
Let's use the contract tender example from the source to make this crystal clear.
All right.
I'll set up the case.
Please.
There is a government contract for a public project. Company A has the lowest bid, but Company B has a much better track record.
Perfect.
Now let's see how two different officers would act. An honest officer.
This officer will truthfully report the facts.
They will just state the fact.
They will say, Company A has offered the lowest bid. He's being honest.
Now the officer with integrity.
An officer with integrity. This officer will prioritize the public interest. They know the lowest bid might lead to poor quality, costing the public more in the long run.
So they will act on a moral principle.
Exactly. They will act on the moral principle of getting the best value for public money and award the contract to Company B, providing a clear justification.
Wow, that contract example makes it super clear. The honest officer just reports facts, but the officer with integrity makes a judgment based on a higher principle.
Precisely. The officer with integrity validates their honesty with moral action. And to reinforce this, let's revisit the Yudhishthir example.
He was honest in his words.
But he lacked integrity because his act was manipulative and intended to cause Drona's death for his own side's gain.
Fantastic. Let's get to cross-questioning. So an officer can be honest, but still make a bad decision for the public?
Precisely. That's why integrity is considered a higher, more comprehensive value. It requires moral courage and sound judgment, not just truth-telling.
It's about doing the right thing, not just saying the truth thing.
Exactly.
Is it possible to have integrity but not be honest?
No, the source is very clear on this. Integrity cannot exist without honesty. Honesty is the foundation. Integrity is the structure you build on top of that foundation.
You can't have a strong building on a foundation of lies.
Absolutely not.
So in our daily lives, how can we check if we are acting with integrity or just honesty?
Ask yourself a simple question. Why am I doing this? If you're telling the truth just to state a fact or avoid getting caught in a lie, that's honesty.
And integrity?
If you're acting based on a consistent moral principle, even when it's difficult, that's integrity. Integrity is about the why behind your actions.
Can being brutally honest ever be a sign of integrity?
Rarely. Integrity includes other values like respect and compassion. Brutal honesty often lacks these.
So a person with integrity would be more thoughtful?
They would find a way to be truthful while still being respectful and constructive. They consider the impact of their words and actions on others.
So in the hierarchy of values, integrity is above honesty.
Yes, you can think of it that way. Honesty is a fundamental component of integrity, but integrity is a broader, more active, and more morally demanding concept.
It encompasses honesty
And adds a layer of moral principle and action.
Great. Practice saying this distinction. Honesty is telling the truth. Integrity is doing the right thing even when the truth is inconvenient.
And the mini recap. In short, if honesty is speaking the truth, integrity is living the truth.
All right, moving on to part 3 and the next set of foundational values.
Objectivity, impartiality, and non-partisanship.
Let's start with objectivity. Topic is objectivity. Decisions based on facts, not feelings.
Perfect. Objectivity is the quality of being impartial and free from bias. It means that decisions must be based on facts and evidence, not personal feelings, opinions, or prejudices.
It's about the merits of the case.
Exactly.
I love this example. Imagine a judge in a singing competition. If they give points to their favorite contestant because they like their style, that's subjective.
And objective.
But if they only give points based on singing quality, sur, tal, and other technical merits, that's objective.
Exactly. Now for the content discussion.
Introduction. Why is objectivity a cornerstone for any public servant?
Because it's the foundation of fairness.
Bilkul. Without objectivity, decisions become arbitrary and unjust.
What's the background here? What must an officer avoid?
The source states 2 key things to avoid. You must not ignore inconvenient facts when providing advice, even if they go against your own belief.
Yes. And you must not frustrate the implementation of policies just because you personally disagree with them.
Let's discuss the core logic. Objectivity versus subjectivity.
Objectivity is based on external facts. True for everyone. For example, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius is an objective fact.
And subjective?
Subjectivity is based on personal opinion. This coffee tastes good is subjective.
A key part of being objective, mentioned in the source, is seeking professional and expert advice.
To base your decision on the best available evidence.
Correct.
And the real-world impact of objective decisions.
Objective decisions are fair, transparent, and legally defensible. They build public trust in the system.
Because people believe they will be judged on merit.
Not on who they know.
To conclude on objectivity. Objectivity ensures that government decisions are logical, reasoned, and fair for everyone. It removes the human error of bias from the equation as much as possible.
Great. Time for cross-questioning.
Sure.
But is it even possible to be completely objective? We all have unconscious biases.
A great point. It's about striving for objectivity. The first step is acknowledging your biases.
And then?
The key is to be aware of them and consciously set them aside. This is why processes, rules, and data are so important. They act as a check against our inherent biases.
If an officer has two options, and the facts support both equally, what then?
That's an excellent scenario. When facts are neutral, then other foundational values come into play to guide the decision, like compassion or public interest.
So objectivity doesn't mean being a robot.
Not at all. It means you start with the facts.
How is seeking professional advice a part of objectivity?
Because it's a way of moving beyond your own limited perspective. By consulting an expert, you are actively seeking more facts and evidence.
It shows a commitment to the best information.
Not just your own opinion, yes.
How does objectivity relate to scientific temper?
They're very closely related. Scientific temper is about using a process of inquiry, observation, and analysis. That is the essence of objectivity.
So an officer with scientific temper will demand evidence?
Question assumptions and rely on data to make decisions.
Can too much objectivity lead to a lack of empathy?
It can, if misapplied. Objectivity is about the decision-making process, not the outcome.
Okay, explain that.
The process must be based on facts. But the facts might be about human suffering. A compassionate response is then based on that objective reality. The two values should work together.
Perfect. Practicing objectivity means judging based on merit, not personal preference.
In short, objectivity is letting the evidence lead you to the conclusion, not the other way around.
Next up, a value that's very closely related to objectivity. The topic is impartiality. सबके साथ एक जैसा बर्ताव.
Yes, impartiality means that decisions should be based on objective criteria without bias or prejudice. It means to be fair, just, and equitable.
Treating all individuals and groups equally.
Without giving undue favor.
Let's take an example. In contractor selection, if an officer treats all bidders equally, based only on the merit of their bids, irrespective of any personal connections, that is impartiality.
And a negative example from our source is the recent NAC accreditation bribery case.
What happened there?
Officials allegedly accepted bribes for favorable ratings. This is a complete compromise of impartiality, as universities were not being treated equally based on merit.
Let's discuss this. Introduction. Why is impartiality a core value in professional ethics?
Because it is the active demonstration of fairness. It's where the principle of equality before the law is put into practice by the administration.
What's the background on the philosophical thinking here? Our source mentions Kant and Rawls.
This is a very interesting point. Immanuel Kant's view suggests a kind of absolute impartiality. You must act based on universal laws, without exceptions.
And Rawls?
John Rawls introduced a different idea of relative impartiality with his difference principle. He argued that to achieve true justice, you sometimes need to treat people differently.
Okay, let's explore the core logic there a bit more. What did Rawls mean?
Rawls argued that inequalities are permissible only if they benefit the least advantaged members of society.
Like affirmative action.
Exactly. Affirmative action or reservation policies. They are not impartial in the absolute Kantian sense, but they aim for a larger justice. The core logic of impartiality in public services, no unjustified discrimination.
And the real-world impact?
Impartiality ensures equal treatment for all citizens, which is the foundation of a just and democratic society. It prevents cronyism and nepotism.
And ensures services are distributed based on need?
Need and merit, not connections.
And to conclude on impartiality.
Fair chance and is treated with equal respect by the state. It is the practical application of the principle of justice.
Let's do the cross-questioning. Can you explain the Kant versus Rawls point a bit more? So when is it okay to not be impartial?
It's okay to not be absolutely impartial when the goal is to correct a historical injustice.
So a policy supporting poor students.
A policy that gives extra support to students from poor backgrounds is not treating everyone the same, but it is being just and equitable. So public service impartiality is closer to Rawls's idea.
Is impartiality the same as objectivity? They sound very similar.
They are very closely related, but distinct. Think of it this way. Objectivity is the mindset, using facts, not feelings. Impartiality is the action that results from that mindset.
So objectivity is the input.
Unimpartiality is the output, treating everyone equally based on those facts.
How can a public servant ensure they remain impartial under pressure from, say, a community leader or a politician?
This is where rules, procedures, and transparency are their best friends. By strictly adhering to the established objective criteria, they can defend their impartiality.
Documentation helps.
Documenting everything is key. It creates a paper trail that shows the decision was based on merit, not pressure.
Can a person be impartial if they have strong personal opinions about a group of people?
This is the real test of professionalism. A good public servant acknowledges their personal biases, but does not let them influence their official actions,
Their duty is to serve all members of the public equally.
regardless of their personal feelings.
What's the relationship between impartiality and secularism in the Indian context?
They are deeply connected. Secularism in the Indian context means the state will not favor any particular religion. This is a form of impartiality.
So a civil servant upholding secularism is being impartial.
By treating citizens of all faiths equally.
Yes,
Okay, let's practice.
practicing. Impartiality is about fairness in action and equal treatment for all.
Great. Mini recap. In short, impartiality is objectivity in practice.
And now for the third part of this trinity.
Non-partisanship.
The topic is
Non-partisanship. Serving the government, not the political party.
precisely. Non-partisanship or political neutrality means a civil servant serves the government of the day to the best of their ability, regardless of their own political beliefs.
So loyalty is to the Constitution.
Their ultimate loyalty is to the Constitution and the system, not to a particular political party.
1. Politics and policy are separate.
Politicians decide, officials execute.
Exactly. 2. Recruitment must be based on merit, not political affiliation. And 3. Public officials should not engage in any partisan political activities.
Let's use the example from the source, the Gujarat government's social media advisory.
Yes, it is a perfect real-world example. It directs civil servants to avoid sharing political opinions online. This is a direct measure to reinforce political neutrality.
Let's get into the discussion. Introduction. Why is political neutrality so essential for a democracy?
Because it ensures continuity and stability. Governments change, but the nation needs to keep running smoothly.
That's the heart of it. Now for the background.
The key principle is that you must not allow your personal political views to determine the advice you give or the actions you take.
Advice should be objective.
And your actions must be to implement the lawful policies of the elected government.
And the core logic.
The core logic is to deserve and retain the confidence of ministers of any government, present or future.
That makes sense.
If bureaucrats are seen as aligned with one party, the next government from a different party will not be able to trust them. This would paralyze the administration.
What's the real-world impact of non-partisanship?
It ensures the smooth functioning of government, especially during transitions of power. It maintains public trust in the bureaucracy as a neutral and professional body.
Not just an arm of the ruling party.
Exactly.
And to conclude this topic,
Non-partisanship is the firewall that protects the integrity and professionalism of the civil service from the heat of day-to-day politics.
time for some cross-questioning. But isn't it difficult for an officer to be completely neutral, especially if they strongly disagree with the government's policy on moral grounds?
It is extremely difficult. The duty is to implement lawful orders.
But they can give their opinion.
A professional officer can give frank, objective advice against the policy during its formulation. But once the democratically elected government makes a final, lawful decision, the officer's duty is to implement it.
What's the difference between impartiality and non-partisanship? They seem to overlap.
Great question. Non-partisanship is specifically about neutrality towards political parties. Impartiality is a broader concept about treating all individuals and groups equally.
So non-partisanship is a type of impartiality.
A specific type applied to the political sphere.
If a minister gives an unlawful or unconstitutional order, does non-partisanship mean following it?
Absolutely not. This is a critical distinction. The loyalty of a civil servant is to the law and the constitution, not to the minister.
So they have to refuse it.
If an order is unlawful, the officer has a duty to refuse it and state the reasons in writing.
Can a civil servant vote? Does non-partisanship mean they can't have private political views?
A civil servant is still a citizen and has the right to vote. They can have private political views.
It's about their public conduct.
Non-partisanship is about their public conduct and official duties. They must not let their private views influence their work or express those views publicly.
How does the rise of social media challenge non-partisanship?
It's a huge challenge. A casual like on a political post or a comment can be misinterpreted and compromise an officer's perceived neutrality.
The line between private and public is blurred.
Very blurred. This is why advisories like the one in Gujarat are becoming more common.
Okay, let's practice. Practicing. Non-partisanship means loyalty to the public, not to a political party.
And the mini recap? In short, non-partisanship ensures that the steel frame serves the nation, not just the government of the day.
Let's move on to part 4. Other key values. First up, dedication to public service. The topic is dedication. Going above and beyond the call of duty. What's the definition?
Dedication is a strong commitment to serving the public. It means putting the public interest above your own personal gain, sometimes even at the cost of personal comfort.
It's about continuing even when motivation is low.
Exactly.
Let's get a quick example. A police officer who volunteers for overtime in a high-crime area, not for the extra pay, but to make the area safer. That's dedication.
Or a social worker who takes on one extra case at the end of a long day to help a family in need. That's going beyond the job description.
So the mini recap for dedication?
In short, dedication is the fuel that keeps a public servant going, even when motivation is low.
Next value, and a very important one, compassion. The topic is compassion, feeling and acting to help.
This is a beautiful concept, and it's important to understand the distinction between three related terms.
Empathy, sympathy, and compassion.
Empathy is understanding and feeling what another person is feeling. It's walking in their shoes.
Sympathy.
Sympathy is acknowledging another person's feelings. You feel sorry for them.
And compassion.
Compassion is taking action to alleviate their suffering. It's empathy in action.
I love that shoe analogy. So an example of compassion would be a disaster response team that not only provides food and shelter, but also takes time to provide psychological comfort to victims.
Exactly. Another great example from the source is the One World, One Family Cricket Cup, where legendary cricketers play to raise funds for global health.
Using their platform for a compassionate cause.
Precisely.
The source also has some powerful quotes about widening our circle of compassion.
Yes. They all emphasize that compassion is not just a feeling, but a necessary principle for human survival and progress.
Beautiful. So what's the mini recap?
In short, empathy feels, sympathy acknowledges, but compassion acts.
Okay, next up is a value our diverse country needs every day. Tolerance. The topic is tolerance, respect for diversity.
Tolerance is a fair, objective, and permissive outlook towards those whose lifestyle, beliefs, or opinions differ from our own.
It's about showing respect for diversity.
In race, gender, religion, and ideologies.
It is essential for a pluralistic society to function peacefully.
Example time.
In a public office, a manager who ensures that staff from different religious backgrounds can take time off for their respective holidays is practicing tolerance.
They are creating an inclusive environment. Another example from the source. A police officer working with an immigrant population needs to be tolerant of different communication styles and cultural customs to serve them effectively.
It's not about agreeing, but respecting.
Respecting the right to be different.
Yes.
So the mini recap for tolerance.
In short,
Tolerance is the software that allows a diverse society to run smoothly without crashing.
let's talk about a value that's all about mental toughness. Perseverance. The topic, perseverance. The never give up attitude.
Perseverance is the ability to persist and continue working towards a goal despite facing obstacles or setbacks. It requires resilience and determination over a long period,
It's about staying committed to your values.
even when it's difficult.
A prime example has to be the work of healthcare workers during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Absolutely. They showed incredible perseverance, working tirelessly under immense risk and pressure.
The source also has a fun example. India's recent World Cup win.
Yes, the lesson was that the game is never over till it's truly over. That unwavering determination is a perfect display of perseverance.
So, the mini recap on this.
In short, perseverance is the engine that drives you through failure to success.
This next one is interesting because it raises a question. Loyalty, the topic is. Loyalty to whom?
This is a critical question in public service. Loyalty is not to a specific person or political party.
It's to higher principles.
A civil servant's loyalty is to the public interest, the constitution, and the law. It's about being committed to the mission of the public service.
So, an example of misplaced loyalty would be an officer covering up a mistake made by their superior.
Correct. The negative example from our source, the suspension of 2 police officials in the Pune Posh case, raises questions about where their loyalty lay.
And on the positive side,
The source mentions Dr. APJ Kalam's life as a great lesson in loyalty. His unwavering loyalty was to the nation of India.
and the mini recap for loyalty?
In short, for a public servant, loyalty is a commitment to the public good, not a person.
And the last value in this section is about teamwork. Collegiality.
Topic.
Collegiality, the power of teamwork.
Collegiality is the quality of working collaboratively and cooperatively with colleagues. It's about taking collective responsibility, fostering positive relationships, and creating a supportive work environment.
A disaster rescue operation is a perfect example. It can never be a one-man show.
It requires seamless teamwork and collaboration between different agencies. That is collegiality in a high-stakes environment.
And the World Cup win example again?
Yes, it was a result of collective effort, not just 1 or 2 star players. Every player's contribution mattered, highlighting the power of collegiality.
What's our final mini recap here?
In short, collegiality means we over me for achieving shared goals.
Okay, let's move into the modern world. Part 5, Applied Ethics and Case Study. Topic, Modern Ethical Dilemmas. Let's start with cyber ethics.
Cyber ethics is the study of ethical issues related to computers and the internet. The key issues our source highlights are hacking, cyberbullying, ensuring confidentiality of data, protecting privacy, and the ethics of censorship.
Next, social media ethics.
This affects all of us.
Indeed, the ethical issues here are vast. Our source points to privacy concerns, the spread of misinformation, the problem of addiction, the creation of filter bubbles by algorithms, and the whole influencer culture.
And finally, a very different area, animal ethics.
This branch of ethics examines our relationship with non-human animals. It raises questions about animal rights. It covers the ethics of using animals in clinical trials, hunting, and keeping them in zoos. Let's do some cross-questioning. Why are social media filter bubbles such a big ethical issue?
Because they fundamentally destroy 2 core values we discussed, objectivity and tolerance.
How so?
When you are only exposed to content that reinforces your existing beliefs, you lose the ability to see things objectively. It makes you less tolerant of different viewpoints and leads to a polarized society.
In animal ethics, what is the middle path between full rights for animals and no rights at all?
The source points to the some rights approach. This is a utilitarian perspective. It allows the use of animals for purposes like medical research, but with a very strong ethical emphasis on treating them humanely.
Preventing any unnecessary cruelty.
Exactly.
Why is confidentiality so important for cybersecurity professionals?
Because by the nature of their job, they have access to incredibly sensitive information. A breach of confidentiality could lead to financial loss, reputational damage, or even a threat to national security.
So it's the bedrock of their integrity.
Upholding confidentiality is the bedrock of their professional integrity.
Regarding misinformation on social media, whose responsibility is it to stop it? The user, the platform, or the government?
It's a shared responsibility. The platforms have a responsibility to design better algorithms. The government has a role in creating laws against malicious propaganda.
And the users?
Ultimately, users also have a responsibility to be critical consumers of information.
In cyber ethics, what is the main ethical argument against digital piracy?
The main argument is based on the principle of fairness and justice. A creator has a right to be compensated for their intellectual labor and innovation.
Okay, a quick mini recap for this section.
In short, technology and society are evolving, and so are our ethical questions.
Now for the ultimate test, a case study. The topic is?
The real test, a senior officer's dilemma. Here's the scenario.
Let's hear it.
You are a senior officer. There's a mega road project planned. The minister concerned insists that you realign the road to benefit his own land, offering you a personal deal.
A clear case of corruption.
The problem? This realignment will harm farmers, the environment, and cost the government more. What should the officer do?
This case is a minefield of ethical conflicts. First, the conflicts of interest. There's transparency versus misuse of position, personal gain versus public interest.
And environmental duty.
Exactly. What are the officer's responsibilities here?
The source outlines them clearly. 1. Ensure public money is not wasted. 2. Protect the fundamental rights of the farmers.
And the environment.
3. Uphold the fundamental duty to protect the environment.
And 4. Ensure the work is done as per the rules.
Okay, the big question. What are the proposed actions for the officer?
The officer needs to act with courage and intelligence. Here's a step-by-step approach based on the source. First, refuse the minister's illegal and unethical proposal.
This requires courage.
The virtue of fortitude.
Yes. Second, politely but firmly apprise the minister of all the difficulties with his suggestion, the financial burden, farmer agitation, environmental damage.
Using discourse ethics.
Yes, resolving conflict through rational discussion. Third, use skills of persuasion and emotional intelligence to convince the minister.
And if the minister insists?
Then the officer must escalate the matter to a higher authority in writing. And throughout this, uphold the principles of righteousness and honesty.
Let's do some cross-questioning on this. This is straight-up corruption. Won't the officer be afraid of refusing? Of being transferred or punished?
Bilkul, that's the reality. And that's exactly where fortitude or courage of conviction is tested.
Integrity isn't easy.
It often comes at a personal cost. A transfer is a very real possibility. But an officer of integrity understands their duty is to the public above all else.
What is this discourse ethics you mentioned from the source?
It's a concept from philosopher Jürgen Habermas. It suggests that the most ethical way to resolve a conflict is not through power, but through a rational, open dialogue.
So the officer reasoning with the minister is an application of this.
Exactly.
In this case, which is the single most important value that comes into play for the officer?
It's hard to pick just one, but if I had to, it would be integrity.
Why integrity?
Because integrity encompasses everything else here. It includes the honesty to state the facts, the courage to say no, the commitment to public interest over personal gain, and the loyalty to the constitution above the minister.
What if the officer tries everything and the pressure is still too much? What is the last resort?
Whistleblowing.
That is the ultimate ethical dilemma. Whistleblowing is an option, but it comes with huge risks. Before that, the officer must exhaust all internal channels.
Reporting to superiors, CVC.
Yes, leaking to the media should be the absolute last resort.
Can the officer use emotional intelligence to handle the minister? How? Yes, very much so. Instead of a blunt no, the officer can frame their refusal in a way that helps the minister see the risks to their own reputation.
How would that sound?
They could say something like, "Sir, I understand your perspective, but my analysis shows this realignment could lead to major media scrutiny, which would harm the government's and your image."
And the final mini recap on this tough case.
In short, this case study shows that real-life ethics is not black and white. It's about navigating gray areas with a strong, unwavering moral compass.
Wow, what a deep discussion. So we started with Aptitude and explored the entire universe of foundational values for civil service.
Let's quickly summarize. Our broad micro-theme was Aptitude and Foundational Values for Civil Service.
We understood that aptitude is a natural, inborn talent about future potential, fundamentally different from skills and knowledge.
We then unpacked the critical difference between integrity and honesty. Honesty is telling the truth, but integrity is doing the right thing, because knowledge without integrity is dangerous.
We looked at the trinity of objectivity, impartiality, and non-partisanship, the pillars of fair governance.
Base decisions on facts, treat everyone equally, and stay politically neutral.
Finally, we touched on crucial professional values like dedication, compassion, tolerance, perseverance, loyalty, and collegiality, understanding them through real-life examples.
A complete journey.
Now for some food for thought for all of you. थोड़ा सोच लो. 1. अपनी लाइफ का एक एग्जाम्पल सोचो जहां आपने इंटेग्रिटी दिखाई. Not just honesty.
2.
क्या आप completely objective decision ले सकते हो in a personal matter? Why or why not?
3.
Compassion का सबसे powerful act क्या है जो आपने recently देखा या किया?
4. Perseverance ने आपको लाइफ में कब हेल्प किया है?
5. Explain non-partisanship to a 5th grader.
एंड 6. अगर आप रोड प्रोजेक्ट वाले ऑफिसर होते तो आपका पहला फोन कॉल किसको होता और आप क्या कहते?
Great questions.
एंड नाउ फॉर अ सिंपल चैलेंज फॉर यू इन द नेक्स्ट 24 आवर्स कॉन्शियसली प्रैक्टिस collegiality.
How?
अपने स्कूल कॉलेज या वर्क प्लेस में किसी कॉलीग को जेन्युइनली हेल्प करो ऑन अ टास्क, शेयर सम यूजफुल इन्फॉर्मेशन और जस्ट प्रमोट टीम वर्क. नोटिस करो कि कैसा फील होता है.
And that's a wrap on this very deep discussion.
होप आपको इन वैल्यूज की डेप्थ और इंपॉर्टेंस समझ आई होगी. दोस्त, these aren't just for exams, they are for life.
Remember, knowledge without integrity is dangerous. So keep learning, but more importantly, keep growing as an ethical individual. अगर आपको ये डिस्कशन पसंद आया तो प्लीज हिट दैट लाइक बटन, कमेंट करके बताओ आपका आहा मोमेंट क्या था, एंड सब्सक्राइब फॉर मोर सच डीप डिस्कशंस.
मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में विद अ न्यू टॉपिक टू अनपैक.
Till then, keep thinking, keep questioning.